So I want to get right into it and establish that I hate networking and socializing is hard. So I've had this theory that the older that I get, the more introverted I'm becoming, but I think it's more so that the older that I get, the more accepting I'm becoming of the fact that I'm an introvert and I've been an introvert and I'm probably always going to be an introvert. I have less reason and way less desire to perform extroversion for anyone. All right, I had to look this up, but an introvert defined by Merriam-Webster is a person whose personality is characterized by introversion, a typically reserved or quiet person who tends to be introspective and enjoys spending time alone. They should have a picture of me underneath that definition. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know how to handle myself in social situations. Depending on how comfortable I am, I may appear someone who's not introverted. And quite honestly, I may be more ambivert than introverted. Like I'm an introvert-leaning ambivert because I know how to make my way around these spaces, and that's probably because of how much I have, as I mentioned, performed extroversion for all of these years. And if I'm comfortable with you, and if I'm around people who I'm comfortable with, it's a completely different situation. But as far as strangers, being in spaces with people I don't know and navigating those spaces, that can be pretty difficult. I think what's been becoming more apparent to me is that I need more time to recover after I have socialized, after I have networked, after I have been around folks who I'm not as comfortable with. Some of the things that happen when I am socializing are things that tend to happen as I get really overwhelmed easily, and there's a bunch of people talking, or if there's a lot going on, I can become incredibly anxious or overstimulated, which can lead to me being irritable or feeling sad or just unable to take in all that's happening around me. So how do I navigate networking in the film, TV, and music space, where you have to create communal work? Who you know is important, and it's inevitable that you're going to have to network with folks. So I want to share a few ways that I care for myself as an introvert when having to be in a lot of social spaces. Number one thing I do is that I give myself grace. I try not to be too hard on myself. If I go to a social event or if I'm somewhere where there are other folks who I could speak to or network with, I don't force myself to speak to people. I just don't. I can't. I have tried that and it does not work as well as I would like. I have been encouraged to maybe speak to one person when I go out, or like challenge myself to go up to one person and say something. I have found that helpful at times, but it is really, really stressful. So I don't put that type of pressure on myself, but if I'm feeling up to it, I may try. And that's not to say if people speak to me that I won't speak to them. I am a pretty friendly person. I believe that I'm pretty approachable. I have no issue speaking with other people if they speak to me. I think the issue for me is approaching others and starting conversations, and not only starting conversations, but keeping up with those conversations, engaging in endless small talk, saying the same things to the same people. What do you do? I really don't care about that, which, could be at my detriment, but I have found that it's a lot easier for me to stay true to myself. And if I don't feel like talking to people, or if I'm at an event where the point is to talk to people, I'm probably not at that event. But if I am at that event, I give myself grace. When I don't have much choice, such as I have a meeting or I need to meet with collaborators, or I'm on set or I'm on a job and you're around 50 other people who you don't know, there's not much getting around that. You have to talk to people talk to you, especially if it's a set where people are kind and cool, which actually happened recently. Everyone was so cool and so kind, but there were times where I needed to step away and catch my breath, take a beat, take a breather. I don't need to fill every space, every silent moment with words. I found that other people felt the same way. Sometimes it is very easy to become overwhelmed. So taking the space to take a breather or do what you need, I make sure to do that at all times. Emotionally preparing for a gig is coming clutch for me. I think one of the biggest things about being an introvert and socializing or networking or going to an event, it could be a family event, it could be people you know as well, I think is the recovery time. Your time to recharge, your time to reset. That time is really important. I have found that time is absolutely imperative for me to be able to function. So if there's time after a job or after such meetings or gatherings, I may take the time to do nothing at all, creating space to just be with myself, creating space to be outside, to breathe in fresh air, to meditate, put my phone on D&D, watch something. You don't really have to be doing anything, or you do your favorite thing, read a book. Whatever the case is, taking that time to recharge your battery helps not only you, but the folks around you. I can't do anything for anyone else if I'm running on zero. So recovery is so important. It's so important. I have been making space and taking time to unlearn behaviors that folks say are normal or are necessary or that you have to do. And if that goes against who you are, no matter what that is, whether you're an introvert or something else, that can be difficult because we're conditioned to believe that XYZ is normal and TUV is not. So accepting who I am and coming to terms with that and getting to know that and recreating my own norms and what makes sense for me has made me a much happier person. And I'm still learning. Yeah, if any of this resonates with you, if any of this feels like it's hitting home, I just want you to know that you can create space for exactly what you need. Whether you're introverted or not, whether you're an introvert or you're an extrovert who has some introvert tendencies, I think we're all allowed to be exactly who we are and to learn how to better be ourselves. So how about you? If you're an introvert or someone who just finds it difficult to socialize, how do you navigate it? How do you care for yourself? I'm very interested in what you all have to say. There have been some really interesting conversations on this channel, and I appreciate all of you who contribute to the conversation. Let me know what you're thinking. Thank you for watching. Until next time, y'all.